On the news at 3, River State government debunks claims over use of Yakubu Gowon Stadium. River State INEC announces ongoing CVR exercise towards ward level from February 2, 2026 plus. NYSC Director General urges corps members to respect customs in the areas of assignment. This is the news at 3. Thank you for joining us. My name is Ibigoni Kalu. River State, treasure base of the nation. Let's build and take her to greater heights. It's a task we must accomplish. You can watch our news live on Facebook and YouTube. At Rstv Online, you can subscribe and click the notification bell for updates on our live feeds. The River State government has dismissed the claims that it denied the use of the Yakubu Gowon Stadium in Elekahia for the Renewed Hope Ambassadors Rally by supporters of Nyesom Wike, Minister of Federal Capital Territory. The government described the allegation by Wike and his allies as false and politically motivated. The Coordinating Commissioner for Sports and Attorney General of the state, Barrister Chris Green, while conducting journalist round the facility, said no application was submitted for the use of the stadium. He explained that the stadium is undergoing a major reconstruction and is filled with heavy equipment, adding that the main pitch alone has over 40,000 pipes buried beneath it. Technical experts like Ebitinye Michael, the site engineer of Money Michael Sport Facility Construction, warned that the project, now about 55% complete, is at a sensitive stage and unsafe for public access. The Permanent Secretary for Information and Communications, Dr. Ono Sirawu, also confirmed that no request was received by any government office. He stressed that the state government fully supports President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and has made alternative venues available for political and public events. The River State government therefore insists that the decision to restrict access to the Yakubu Stadium is strictly for safety reasons and has nothing to do with politics. A former member of the National Assembly, Honorable Bunawuke, and a one-time chairman of Elime Local Government Council, Barrister Philip Okparaji, berated the impeachment proceeding against the governor Siminala Ifubara, labeling it a witch hunt. The duo was speaking when they appeared on a live interactive show on River State Television. Stewardship Nnamdi Olimini tells us more.
Honorable Bunawuke, who represented Omoma Eche Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives alongside Philip Okparaji, advocated peace and urged the governor to focus on good governance considering his 4-year mandate.
The so-called impeachment exercise is a witch hunt. There's no such thing as gross misconduct on the part of the governor. There's no such thing. And the seal has been taken away from it. The fact that the chief judge has refused to set up a panel is indicative of the fact that obviously it was the constitution did not envisage a situation where at every turn and twist lawmakers would turn to the impeachment tool. No, that was not the intention of that clause in the constitution.
There is need for the assembly to work in synergy with the governor to move the state forward. Because look at it, investors cannot come and invest in a situation where there is political instability. So we need to, the assembly needs to work with the governor for the progress, for the peace, for the stability, for good governance in River State and move River State forward.
Wuke and Okparaji praised PANDEF's efforts for mediating between the warring factions, emphasizing the need for stability in River State.
Governmental structures under the concept of separation of powers should work together. And that's why you have the legislature playing its role. You have the executive also playing its God-given roles. Nobody will try to play the role of the other, in such a manner, or show disrespect, lack of tact and restraint when we are talking about public issues. And I think that going forward, because the seal have been taken from the impeachment process, it strikes on shock and speed. And I believe that with the weeks going, become slightly more devolved in terms of its strength. It's like a wind, a storm losing its strength as it sweeps past. So I am confident that we'll come back to the basics. We are Rivers people.
Let me even thank the panel. They have raised a committee of elders to look into whatever crisis between the governor and the assembly. And I think we can all resolve. Let them listen to the elders of Rivers State and let them work for the interest and progress of Rivers State.
As at the time of this report, impeachment proceedings are still ongoing, with the matter currently at the Court of Appeal. Nnamdi Olimini, Rstv News.
Port Harcourt Chamber of Commerce, Industry, Mines and Agriculture will continue to remain steadfast in its mission to build and protect businesses while developing people through sharing of relevant knowledge, information and strategic partnerships. President of the Chamber, Dr. Chinyere Nwoga, made the assertion while playing host to the former senator representing Rivers West Senatorial District, Betty Apiafi, in our office in Port Harcourt. Nnamdi Olimini was there.
Dr. Nwoga said in line with the vision of the chamber, the education trade unit alongside other sectoral groups have been at the forefront of bridging the gap between the academia and industry, believing that such collaborations between the private sector and education stakeholders are essential to equipping youths with 21st century skills, fostering entrepreneurship, promoting vocational training and creating pathways from classroom to boardroom. She described Senator Apiafi's visit as a significant milestone in the shared commitment to the socio-economic advancement of Rivers State and the nation. According to Dr. Nwoga, her contributions to national legislations, particularly in areas touching on economic development, education and women development, remains indelible. The FASIMA president said she recognizes the continued impactful role of Senator Apiafi beyond the Senate, notably as a distinguished member of the Board of Governors of Brookstone Primary, Secondary and Foundation School in Port Harcourt, adding that her involvement in the esteemed institution underscores her unwavering passion for quality education, human capital development and nurturing of future leaders who will drive innovation, entrepreneurship and sustainable growth in the region.
We envision joint initiatives such as internship and mentorship program for students to gain practical business exposure, capacity building workshops, seminars and career fairs linking education with commerce and industry, advocacy for policies that support education-driven economic growth, and other synergistic efforts that align with our collective goal of a more prosperous, innovative, and inclusive Rivers State.
The former senator representing Rivers West Senatorial District, Senator Betty Apiafi, said she was in FASIMA to congratulate Dr. Chinyere Nwoga for her emergence as the first female president of the chamber, describing the move as a plus in the empowerment of women. She also expressed her readiness to strengthen collaboration with FASIMA, particularly in the areas of job creation, women and youth empowerment, among others.
Women should support women, women should lift women, and my sister today, trust me, for as long as you need me, I'll be here to support you. There's so much we can do together. Women empowerment, education, youth empowerment, education, youth. There's so much we can do together. And all I can say is, I wait for you to challenge me.
In their goodwill messages, Acting General Manager, Rivers State Television, Ambassador Paul Dambo, and a former permanent secretary in the state, Dr. Patricia Obona, commended Senator Apiafi for deeming it necessary to partner FASIMA, expressing hope that such collaboration will provide opportunities for the empowerment of youths, women, and support socio-economic development of Rivers State.
She can do anything to help a peasant person in the rural areas. And in fact, these are the people that should stay more than 3 terms in the Senate. I don't know, well, we thank God she also opened door for a female to come in. And then she's the first female senator, and it's important. And she's sitting with the first female chamber president.
I want to affirm that what has been said about passionate empowerment for women, men, children, and all, it is true.
Highlights of the event were interactive session and presentation of award to Senator Betty Apiafi. Nnamdi Olimini, Rstv News.
time to apply the brakes. But just before we do that, River State, treasure base of the nation, let's build and take her to greater heights. It's a task we must accomplish. You can watch our news live on YouTube and Facebook at Rstv Online. You can subscribe and click the notification bell for updates on our live feeds. Up ahead, more than 200 die in landslides at rebel-controlled mine in DR Congo. And in sports, under 20 WWC Falconets to battle Senegal in Ogun State. This and many more up ahead.
This is Rstv World News. We bring you world-class news, accurate, first-hand, entertaining, balanced analysis. Rstv, Channel 22 Port Harcourt.
Welcome back. Now, Vice Chancellor of the University of the River State University, Professor Isaac Zeb Obipe, has reaffirmed the university's commitment to providing a conducive environment for academic research framework. The Vice Chancellor made the remark during the 125th inaugural lecture of the university presented by Professor Karibo Bakshaw. Emmanuel Emeon was there.
An inaugural lecture is described as an obligation of scholarship owed by a professor to the academic community that nurtured them. Presenting the inaugural lecture titled Production and Operations Management, the Central Science for Societal Well-being, Professor Bakshaw explained that his motivation for the chosen topic is not purely unacademic, rather it is born out of a lifelong observation of Nigerians' paradox, a nation of immense human energy and boundless natural resources, yet one that perpetually struggles with productivity. He said production and operations management is fundamental science for building functional institutions, thriving industries, and a prosperous society. Professor Bakshaw further noted that societies that master operational principles achieve stability, productivity, and sustained development, and recommended that government and policymakers prioritize and stabilize the operational enablers, while universities should modernize the production and operations management curriculum.
What informed the topic of the lecture is the societal problems we have, not involving production operations in the affairs of this country. Especially think about maintenance. We have reactive maintenance. Waiting when there's a breakdown, then we go to repair. But ordinarily, it should have been preventive and predictive maintenance to have stable societal well-being. The government must ensure that they build into people in ensuring that there is efficient management of resources, proper resource allocation.
The Vice Chancellor of the River State University, Professor Isaac Zeb Obipe, commended the inaugural lecturer, Professor Karibo Bakshaw, for his excellent presentation. He said the lecturer has shown that Nigerians' persistent productivity challenges are not the result of insufficient potential, but inadequate operational discipline.
Professor Bakshaw, on behalf of the university, I want to thank you for making us proud. We congratulate you and we call on the government and just government to look at their contributions to knowledge, to look at their suggestions, and ensure that the resources that we do not have in right quantity and right quality are processed and transformed to goods and services that will ensure that waste is minimized, time is minimized, cost is minimized, and quality is ensured. Ladies and gentlemen,
the event featured presentation of the lecture booklet to the Vice Chancellor and the decoration of the 125th inaugural lecturer. Emmanuel Emenyonu, Rstv News.
Management of the Independent National Electoral Commission, River State, has announced the Commission's approval on movement of the ongoing continuous voter registration exercise, the ward level on a rotational basis across the 319 wards in River State from Monday, February 2, 2026 for a duration of 50 days. A statement by Geraldine Ekelomo, Head of Department of Voter Education and Publicity, on behalf of the State INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner, said the decision is a part of a sustained efforts to bring the registration exercise closer to eligible Nigerians, expand voter access, and encourage greater participation in the electoral process, especially at the grassroots. According to her, eligible citizens who have attained the age of 18, as well as those seeking transfer of their registration, replacement of their lost or damaged permanent voters' cards, or correct their voter records, are encouraged to take advantage of the exercise when it reaches their respective wards. The Commission called on community leaders, civil society organizations, political parties, the media, and other stakeholders to support the sensitization of citizens and ensure a peaceful and orderly registration process in the various wards. The Director General of the National Youth Service Corps, Brigadier General Olakunle Nafiu, has advised the Corps members to respect local customs, stay committed, be resourceful, and be punctual at primary assignments, and urged them to contribute to Nigeria's socio-economic development. According to a post on the NYSC National Directorate headquarters, Nafiu gave advice while addressing the 2026 Batch A Stream 1 Corps members at the orientation camps in Ogun and Oyo states. He lauded the Corps members for responding to the call to serve the nation and urged them to manage their finances wisely, noting that prudent financial management would support them during and after service year. The NYSC boss also cautioned them to respect the customs of their host communities and maintain good conduct throughout their service. On the foreign scene, at least 200 people have been killed when heavy rains triggered series of catastrophic landslides at the Rubaya coltan mine in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo. The appointed governor of North Kivu province, Lumumba Kembare Muisa, said at least
100 people have died at the
people are being treated, some in local health facilities, while others will be transferred to Goma, the nearest city around 50 kilometers away. Muisa said the governor has temporarily halted artisanal mining on the site and ordered the relocation of residents who had built shelters near the mine. Rubaya lies in the heart of mineral-rich East DRC, which for decades has been ripped apart by violence between government forces and different armed groups. Reports say the site has been under the control of M23 rebel group since 2024, but that since its resurgence in 2021, the M23 group has taken vast tracts of the eastern DRC. Despite a U.S. brokered deal between the Congolese and Rwanda governments and Kinshasa's ongoing negotiations with the rebels, fighting continues on several fronts in the region. To sports now, where the Confederation of African Football (CAF) has approved the Nigerian Football Federation's request to change the venue of the 2026 FIFA Under-20 Women's World Cup third round, first leg qualifier between Nigeria and Senegal. The match, scheduled for February 7, will now be played at the MKO Abiola Sports Complex in Abeokuta, Ogun State capital. NFF Director of Competitions Ruth David, who confirmed the venue change, explained that it was necessitated by the deteriorating state of the playing pitch at Lekon Salami Stadium, Ibadan. The Ibadan venue had earlier been approved for the match and hosted the Falconets' second leg clash between Rwanda under-20 girls in September last year. Following the development, the two-time FIFA World Silver medalists who had been training in Ibadan are expected to relocate to Abeokuta in a few days to familiarize themselves with the turf. The Falconets defeated their Rwanda counterparts 5-0 on aggregate to qualify for the third round of the African series of the qualification campaign. The winner between Nigeria and Senegal in this third round will